for Friday morning.
Here, whenever these two boys meet on a pool table, you can expect fireworks, that's for sure.
These two both in the top 3 of the table at the moment. Shaw with 8 wins out of 11. Filler 11 from 12. And people were talking a lot about the race to 5. It's very short, but the point that was being made in response to that is that you'll play so many matches that the best will rise to the top by the end of it all. And we're really seeing that with Filler. He has unquestionably, Carl, been the best player so far.
Yeah, I think over the 4 days play, he's looked the most consistent. Obviously, it's a lot of pool matches, and the likes of Albin, Jayson, Al-Qaedi, Sanchez, even Shane, Kazakis. They've played some good stuff in parts, of course, but, you know, things can change once we go down to 10 players. But the good thing with the format is we don't start again. These points are all going to come into play. As you see, Jayson, he's on 8 points. Filler's on 11 points, but Jayson is a game behind. So this is still a big game for Jayson as he scratches on the break. Not the ideal start.
No, far from it. And in a sense, this is almost a phase 2 match, really, because that's where these guys are at now. They're going to be in that phase, and they don't need the points for phase 1, but they do need them for phase 2. Because only 6 of those 10 will then advance to the final day next Monday. Over on the other table, it's Albin Ocean who's safely through against Skylar Woodward, who currently occupies the 10th and last qualifying position. He's played 11 matches, 5 wins so far. And we've been changing our perception over the last few days. I heard one player say that 4 wins might be enough to go through. Most of us thought it would be 5. I think we now all agree 6 is likely to be the mark, at least. Even 6 maybe not be enough. You could see a few players on that, and some of them missing out on racks difference. So really, to make sure and be comfortable in terms of getting through to the next phase, 7 has got to be the target. Of course, apart from anything else, even if you do get through, you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you need to win nearly all of your matches in phase 2 to then advance to phase 3, because as Carl says, everything does carry forward.
Joshua Filler's had the cue ball on a string in this rack. Everything's been perfect. Looks to be timing the cue ball really nice.
Early start here, but it looks as though Joshua Filler is well and truly awake. This is the way he's been playing all week. Boning in the opening match in a hill-hill finish. And that was the result which put them within one of retaining the Mosconi Cup, which they ultimately did later that evening, with this man delivering the winning point. Joshua Filler, 1-0 up.
Joshua's been doing the cup break all week. That's where the cue ball comes off the one ball, and you stun the cue ball onto the side rail, and it comes back out into the middle of the table. Often the one ball comes round a couple of rails and lands over near this corner. It was a really good break, but there's nothing you could do about the two balls landing in front. That's just the way it is. So we're going to see a push out. Got to be careful. Make sure you get the one ball. He's going to move the two. The reason why he's done that is because if he didn't move the two ball, Jayson would have took the bank shot on.
Jayson Shaw got off to a really good start, won all of his first 3 matches. And then things started to fade a bit. He lost 3 of his next 4. But the big turning point for him, just when his qualification for the next phase was starting to be thrown into a little doubt, came on Wednesday evening when he beat Alex Kazakis 5-0. And then he carried things on from there to win all 3 of his matches yesterday. As we've said, Filler and Alban Ocean have been the 2 star performers so far. Been relentless winning machines. The difference between them, though, is that Ocean, when he's been in danger in matches, has just been finding a way to get across the line. Whereas Filler has also turned around some matches that look like slipping away, but he's done it by just overpowering opponents with how well he's been playing.
Safety shot's gone wrong. He was just trying to bank the one ball back up table on the double hit. Well, that's left Shaw with a little chance here. He can snip this ball in. Reaching it's not going to be an issue because Jayson's cue's about 64, 66 inches long. Plays with a massive extension on the bottom of his cue.
What would be the normal length of a cue, Carl?
58 inches is the normal size for a cue when it's made. Jayson's might even be a little bit longer than what I've just said. It's like probably towering above himself if he puts it on the floor next to him. It's quite unbelievable, really. Wasn't his best positional shot, but he can still pot this 2 ball. Issue here is going to be the cue ball, because I don't think he can play this slow enough to hold for the 3. But where them 2 balls are, the 5 and the 9, it's not a big window to get the gap through. Oh, he's played this nice. Lovely shot there.
He's always a joy to watch. So instinctive, so natural. Loves the challenge of a testing shot.
Yeah, very similar players, really. Obviously both left-handed. Probably both admire each other's games as well.
So the opening 2 racks, both won against the break. And so we arrive at 1 apiece. Big day for Skylar Woodward. He's in the top 10 at the moment, but only just. He's in 10th position. And he's in that group of 4 players who are all on 5 wins. They are the players right on the bubble at the moment. You would suspect But those players are looking for 2 more wins today to be comfortable in terms of getting through. 1 more may be enough. I hope you're ready for later, Carl. We're relying on you to work out all the racks difference and all the permutations and possibilities. I know you love that sort of thing.
Well, I think you're the numbers man, Michael.
Yeah, but you're the one who earns the big numbers.
I'm good 1 to 9, pal. That's my forte.
You've proved that over the years.
Yeah, as Michael said before, Skylar Woodward's sitting at 10th position. There's a few players hovering on 5 and 4 points, so it's going to get real tight down there.
Well, you look towards the end of the night, matches that could really have so much on them. The last match on table 2 of the whole first phase is Oliver Szolnocki against Mieszko Fortunski. And that's the sort of match you look at and think, yeah, that could actually end up being basically an eliminator, depending on how they've done through the day. So lots of excitement ahead. These two have no reason to get involved in those conversations because they're both safely through to the next phase, but still looking to build up the wins to carry forward with them. And it's 1-1 as Jayson Shaw breaks.
And as you can see, he has a nice open look at this 1 ball. Jayson also played a cup break.
You would obviously have a lot of insight into this, Carl, as vice-captain for the Mosconi Cup team. These two were paired together, as I was saying, for a couple of the doubles matches. So why would that be? What would be the factors that would go into deciding which players would pair up for doubles?
Well, they played twice, but one was a fan's pick. Obviously, in the Mosconi, you can only play 1 doubles match with the same person. You can't just keep playing with the same partner. That's so you've got to mix it up. So you're not really thinking, oh, well, we need to put these two together as such. It's more a case of you don't really have any choice. I think purely from the fans' aspect, it's just the way they play pool, isn't it? They don't hang around, they get on with it. They like to go for the shots. Good potters, good characters. So we kind of anticipated they would get the fans' pick. No disrespect to obviously the other guys in the team. That's just the way it is, I'm afraid.
Would there ever be a situation where you'd have 2 players who you just wouldn't ever put together for any particular reason?
Yeah, that does happen, to be honest. I don't think I'd ever put Filler and Catcher together.
So why is that?
Just different characters. You know, sometimes you just get a feeling that it's not quite going to work. As we've seen this week, Catchy's very like, he's his own person, isn't he? He sort of does what he wants to do. Filler wants to be cuddled and loved. And you just kind of feel like that would be a bit of a car crash match together, so we should kind of stay away from that one. I'm giving too much information away. Alex is going to kill me.
Well, Joshua, of course, brings his wife with him to most tournaments, so he can get the cuddles and the love from her.
Yeah, and then obviously you've got somebody like Albin, and if you look at Albin's success at the World Cup of Pool, you know, he's a winner of that event twice. Obviously does very well in the doubles in the Mosconi, so he can pretty much play with anybody.
So good quality start, as you would expect every time between these two. Jayson Shaw lost the opening rack, but he's won 2 in a row since then. Shaw leads Filler 2-1. More in a moment. High quality stuff, just what you'd expect between these two. And it's Jayson Shaw leading Joshua Filler 2-1. On the other table, exactly what you wouldn't expect. Albin Ocean 3-0 down against Skylar Woodward.
And this can be the problem when you lose the cue ball. When the cue ball doesn't find the middle of the table, see how it just come off the rail and it's tracking towards that bottom rail? That is going to cut your chances down at having an open shot at the one ball. You know, if Joshua could pick the cue ball up and put it on the centre spot, well, he'd be straight in on this one. He's having a good look. I don't know if he's having a look at the potting angle or if he's having a look at the edge. If you can see the edge of it, I'm guessing he's going to play it into the 2-ball and try and run the cue ball back down towards the table. Needs to miss the 6 here though, or find that little gap. And he's going to be happy with that. If he'd have hit one of them balls a lot fuller, Jayson would have had a shot at this.
Been a good start to the year for Jayson Shaw. We were talking about that extraordinary world record attempt, successful world record attempt for the most successive balls in straight pool. 714 of them he made, but much more significant, won the Turning Stone Classic in New York for the 7th time. Was beaten early on in the event by Fedor Gorst, got back in through the one-loss side and ended up beating Gorst in the final. Had a good Derby City Classic week.
Great jump shot there from Shaw. That had to be a thin one. And he's got a shot at this 2-ball. That's a prime example of what pool's about, because when Jayson come to the table, he would have been a little bit disheartened because he would have known Filler had a nice little flick there to hook him, but you know, he's still at the table. Things can still happen. You've got to just keep grinding it out. You never know what's going to happen on a 9b5 pool table.
Well, some extraordinary things happened on the table. And Filler played Albin Ocean on Wednesday night by both players' admission. Filler just got none of the luck in the deciding rack, and Ocean got extraordinary amounts of it and ended up winning the match. You think back now, if it had gone the other way and Filler had got over the line in that one, then he could still be going into today on 100% and in with a chance of making it 15 wins from 15. But as for the man he's playing today, that's all gone wrong.
Cue ball always looked like it was going to track towards the 7. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. He could have played it a little bit harder and tried to bump the 7, but 3 rails trying to hit it, not easy. So it's a big mistake here from Shaw, as he gives Joshua a ball in hand.
Yeah, he wasn't far away from just making a slight contact, was he? And if he had done, still may very well have left the 5 on, but would have been unlikely to have been as straightforward as that. And we always say it about Filler, he just doesn't let you off the hook. And a sense of inevitability about what's going to happen in the next few moments here. So no joy off the break. But Filler has still found a way to win the rack. Once Shaw gave him ball in hand, he sensed there was only going to be one outcome. So it's 2-all. Over on the other table, Alban Ocean is off the mark now. 3-1 down, though, against Skylar Woodward. If Ocean was to lose that, that would be his 3rd defeat in a row. And that after winning all of his first 10 matches. The run finally came to an end yesterday against David Al-Kaidi. And then he lost to Shaw.
He's attempting the pot here. Got to hit this one thin. And that's the problem. Whenever you're trying to hit it thin, we've all done that. We've missed the cut on the way through. And it can often make you look a little bit foolish. This is a difficult shot, though. Not only is it a difficult pot,
extension, please.
You've got to strike down and try and get the cue ball over to this right side rail. This is actually a really horrible shot.
Big difficulty. Potential big rewards. If he pulls it off, it would be a great chance to get to the hill.
Oh, well struck. That's the type of shot where it gives you so much confidence. Really feel like you're hitting a good cue ball when you knock them sort of shots in.
Well, he came in and sat in your chair last night, did a bit of commentary, and felt he was actually playing pretty well. And just hadn't quite managed to get that reflected in his results so far. Where's this 9? Golden break. We've had quite a few of those. Must be up about a dozen of them now. Wow, it's always worth another look. Kicked by the 8. All the way there. Took a little bow on the way in. And Jayson Shaw leads once again at 3-2.
I think over the course of the week, the sheer amount of racks being played, you're going to see 9 balls going in. Not regular, but at least they're not going straight in. They're getting kicked in. That was a nice shot there from Skylar to find position for this purple 5. This rack will get him on the hill with a nice 4-1 lead, and that's a nice gap. Nice little lead you would have, that 4-1. A lot of breathing space.
Well, if he can win, it would be a huge result for him. It would take him on to 6 wins, which, as we've said, may be enough. But I think you've got to aim for 7, haven't you, to start feeling comfortable. When you look, his next match is against Eklund Kachi, who's really struggling so badly. He could get the win then. He'll still have a couple more matches to play against Omar Al-Shaheen and Kelly Fisher. So this could be a real turning point in Woodward's Premier League campaign. He led 3-0 here. Ocean did close to only 2 behind, but the 3 rack gap is restored. Woodward races to the hill. It's 4-1.
Yeah, it's nice to see Skylar sporting the European blue glove.
If you point that out to him, he'll probably rush out and get a different one.
Doesn't look like that green 6-ball passes the brown 7. Let's see what angle he gets after this shot. So he does have an angle. Now this is going to be interesting. He's playing the hook. Cue ball needs to slow down a little though. And that's just changed this shot a little bit. You want it to be a little straighter. Now he can't really glue him behind the 7, can he? He might be playing the billiard. Is he trying to pot the 7? Oh, he was all right. He looked a little disappointed, but it was actually not too bad where it finished in the end. Jayson's just looking at the options here. He's just, what he's doing here is he's weighing up if he kicks at this ball off the side rail and he hits it full. He's just trying to see what may happen. And if you look where the 8 is, maybe it would flick the 8 and go in. It could have, of course, go straight in. So there's a few things that could happen. The 6 could double kiss the 8 and go in this other corner. Well, if that comes off, Michael, I might just put the mic down and walk out. That would be an unbelievable shout. Yeah, good things could happen there for Jayson. He would have known that as long as he could make a good football hit. And it was a great shot, wasn't it?
It's like I was saying earlier, he loves the challenge of a testing shot. Seems to enjoy proving himself with those little challenges.
He's got to play this one quite firm. Oh, and he's fluked it. He's having the run of the ball in this match. He's made a 9 on the break. And there he was playing the bank, but he's got the treble. Over the years, if you hang around the practice room, Michael, you would hear the players often discuss they should be playing call shot. I know the organisers never take that on board, but certainly in the players' room and the practice rooms, they're begging for that to happen.
Generally, after it's gone against them with their opponent getting a stroke of luck like that, I would assume. Jayson Shaw then, is first to the hill. He'll be breaking at 4-2 when we come back. A bit of good fortune along the way, a golden break, a treble, but some good playing as well from Jayson Shaw. And he's breaking on the hill against Joshua Filler, who could be facing only his second defeat so far from 13 matches in this Predator Premier League.
Jayson's also using the cup break. I think he's been watching Joshua break and think he's thinking that looks quite useful, so I'm going to have a little bit of that. And he's got a nice shot at this one ball. Cue ball actually looked like it was going close to the pocket, and then it hit the one right at the end. And it's actually turned out real nice. Just got to kill this cue ball, get into it nicely to hold for the 2 ball. And I think the 3 ball goes in between the 9 and the 7 in the same pocket as this blue 2. So this game has been real kind to Jayson from 2-2. But he's got to be kind to somebody, hasn't he, Michael? So why not Jayson?
Yep, everyone gets their day. It was kind to Filler in that match against... Or rather, sorry, it was kind to Ocean in the match against Filler the other night. So you're going to have matches where the fortune falls one way or the other. Everyone gets their share in time. This win, for sure, keeps alive the possibility, albeit an outside one, that he could still finish in first place. He can still get to 12 wins. Filler's on 11. Alvin Ocean is on 10 and possibly facing his 3rd defeat in a row on the other table. 4-2 down to Skylar Woodward. It was a match which didn't start particularly well for Jayson Shaw. A scratched break in the opening rack. Filler hasn't had a look in on any of Shaw's breaking racks since then. And all in all, this has been a very good performance from Jayson Shaw. Joshua